Okay, guys, so this is my PowerPoint and my project over gender in theater. It's a modern controversy, and this PowerPoint is primarily about transgenders and how that's being represented in theater. So, for those, just like a quick beginning, for those who don't exactly know what transgender means, um, it means a person is born one gender, such as a boy or girl, but feels or feels emotionally or biologically feels that they should be the opposite gender, such as if they were born a girl, they feel that they're a man. If they were born a man, they feel that they should be a girl. Um, so this is kind of what this is going to talk about with pieces in theater that discuss this topic. So yeah, and we're gonna get into that. Also, just another quick point before we dive right in. A lot of these shows are still either fairly new and still being done. In fact, I believe Tootsie, the musical version, is still primarily on Broadway. And they also all pretty much have a movie version with them. And on the piece of paper that I wrote at the back, I'll have a slide up that has some places where you can get some more information and where you can find some of this information at. So let's go ahead and get started. So as you can see, this is my title page. It has the plays, Boy, A Kid Like Jake, Looking for Normal, and This is Tootsie. I know it doesn't say it on there, but that's exactly what it is. So let's go to first person. So this is the play A Boy. This play is about a young twin, so this is a play that delves into being a twin. And he was born a boy. However, there was a medical accident when he was young, and his family just decided to raise him as a boy after talking to a doctor that is actually that actually works with gender and transsexuals, and he suggested that they raise him as a girl so he wouldn't suffer later in life. And unfortunately, it's ironic because he ends up suffering later in life because he is a boy, not a girl. So it helps reveal the heartbreaking emotions and stories of how many people who struggle with gender feel trapped in a body that's not the one they feel they should be in. And by this, I mean, for a good part of the story, the boy doesn't speak. It's a voiceover of a girl because he's raised as a girl, and so his family does, he thinks he's a girl, but he's really a boy. So they have him as a full-grown man in the play, but you hear a woman speaking instead. Sadly, the reason why Anna Zielger wrote this play is because it's based off a true story of a Canadian man named David Peter Reimer, who ended up taking his own life because he unfortunately did not feel like he could continue on. As you can see here, I have some productions. As you can see, they're all relatively between now and back to 2016. These are the most prominent ones I could find. I'm sure they're still going on many places in the world right now. So here's part 2. This is actually a highly regarded play. It has some critics from the Huffington Post, Stage and Cinema, and Chicago Theater Review, and they all say that The Boy is a necessary tale in today's time. The Boy, I think, is set apart from other plays that show transgender issues and topics because it shows how you're physically forced into a gender role doesn't necessarily mean that's who you are. So, like he was raised as a girl, he was forced to be a girl when he's a boy. And it also portrays the relationships between people in the situation, what happens between the parents doing this to their children, and how a therapist influences his patient. I believe this is incredibly relevant in showing that people do struggle with gender identity, and they're not just doing it for attention, and they are truly suffering. And so I'm going to click here, and no, wrong way. Sorry, guys. It's no. Okay, and I believe I can hit no. Okay, what are you doing? Okay, give me 1 sec. I'm trying to play. I have nope. Well, I have a link here that will have a clip that we can watch a clip from one of the plays. Give me 1 sec to just, flip this around, and maybe I can use my mouse and we can watch it. No? Here we go. Okay, so let me just large screen this real quick for you. Here we go. So you can see here how I was saying that he's played as a man, but it's a woman who voices him. And I believe that's the therapist. Yeah, sorry, guys. You can see some of the comments that people have on it. Yay, they're in love. So yeah, that's in the Ensemble Studio Theater. So, which is a pretty highly regarded. It's the Keene Company. So, all right, and so let's move on to the next one. A Kid Like Jake. So this movie is about a couple. They're parents of a son who may be transgender, and it's how they struggle to find a good school for him to attend. Actually, if you guys know Sheldon from Big Bang Theory, he's a producer and actor in here, and it was directed by Silas Howard, both who are part of the LGBT community. Jim, as many of us know, and those who don't know, surprise, he's gay. And Silas, he is a transgender man himself. So they felt that it was time for young parents to know that their struggle with the possibility of having a transgender son might be scary, but it's okay. It'll be all okay in the end. It was produced into a film by the Sundance Film Festival in 2018, and it later received a limited time release in theaters. The film grossed about $44,000, and here is a quick little clip for this one. That's okay. I promise this is the only other clip that I'm gonna show.
There's never enough cooks in the kitchen.
An ad. So here we go.
I think he wants you.
Jake's very special. He's always liked doing things his own way.
Where are you guys applying?
Oh, boy.
Even if we could afford it, as a private school, even what I want for Jake, I know we've always said we're not those parents, but
I can't afford to be.
maybe.
The numbers are ridiculous, but you have to remember,
Everybody wants diversity.
why not talk a little about his gender expansive play? You want him to be somewhere he can thrive, right?
You really don't think it's weird?
I mean, he does like to play dress up. That's not news.
Yeah, he likes fairy tales, but maybe that's not the most critical thing worth mentioning.
He asked why boys can't wear skirts.
I don't want to send him off to kindergarten labeled. He's only 4. What if he starts thinking there's something wrong with him?
Where is my favorite grandson? I haven't heard from you in over a week.
If you guys want to keep watching that, you can, but I think I'm gonna leave it there. And as you can see, it's showing how they're just trying to find him a good school to be in, but they're worried that he may be bullied or picked on for being for playing dress up and just showing signs of not liking the gender he is. The Rotten Tomato score was a 53 on this out of 45 reviews. The Hollywood Reporter said the film was great, a lovely comedy drama. It gave it a 3. The Associated Press gave it a 3 out of 4. So it may not be the best, but it's really real life is what they're trying to get at. So this movie is set apart primarily because it deals with the trials of being a parent of a transgender child and how, even if the child doesn't realize it yet, how you don't want to shelter them too much. I personally believe that this is relevant because many people now may be prepared to have a homosexual child or a child that likes someone of their same gender, but they may not be prepared for a little boy or a little girl that they've raised for a decade to change that. So I feel like this would hopefully open up conversation in that. So this is called Looking for Normal. It explores the complexities of marriage, family, and it goes through the notion of love. Basically what happens in this one is the patriarch of the family decides that he's actually a she and becomes a matriarch. The author of this play, Jane Anderson, wanted to try and open the door on showing how transgenders transitioning later in life affects the family unit. There's many trans people of older generations that are just now transitioning and they have families, and what does that look like? This play is still being produced and put on all around the United States and is actually a film, and it's called Normal. The TV Guide reviewed the film, said it was awkward but still really great. The Hollywood Reporter states much the same. It's touching, a little odd though to be on screen. It's meant to be a play. This particular show is different than others that discuss this topic because it discussed the trials of an older transgender person who transitions later in life and how their family and them go through this journey. It's also one of the few shows that I've seen that shows a truly full transition. He transitions slowly throughout the show. I believe that this play is important because it's one of the plays that I feel really touches on that process of transitioning and how it affects people surrounding that person. I feel that it's a more direct and powerful approach to the gender topic. And here's Tootsie. It's a musical based off of a movie. It tells the story of a talented but aggressive actor whose reputation for being difficult forces him to adopt a new identity as a she. So she gets this role, or he gets the role, pretending to be a woman, very much Mrs. Doubtfire of him. The musical is based on more on entertaining the audience and capturing their attention. It does open up the idea for drag / cross-dressing, but it's almost as an afterthought, really. The musical actually made its world premiere at the Cadillac Palace Theater in Chicago in 2018. So it's still, like I said, relatively new and still primarily on Broadway. Chris Jones praised this musical. In particular, he praised the talent of lead Santiago Fontana. In the Broadway production of Variety, Marilyn Stazio wrote, "The new Broadway adaptation of Tootsie is old-fashioned and proud of it." So a lot of critics have some really nice things to say about this. The musical is less about creating a statement and more entertaining about the masses while putting gender fluidity on stage. I believe that makes it important in its own right because it handles gender in a more political sense rather than a transgender sad sense. It's actually portraying that if a man is aggressive, if it's a bad thing, it's not good. And if it's a woman that's aggressive, it's admirable and people want to work with her. And which is actually in reality a switch of gender. So it's kind of saying that men are being told, like, if you're aggressive, you'll get what you want, and women are told to be soft. But in this play, we see, instead of a physical switch, we see the perception switch, which I think makes this really important. Okay, and finally, this is some more information for you guys. Hold on. Here's some more information. So there's some links here. The first one is a clip for Looking for Normal, the play, so you can get a little bit better understanding of the show and see if it's something you might be interested. Actually, the movie version of Tootsie is on Netflix, so if you want to see that, it is on Netflix. Just know that instead of a musical, so in the musical, it's about a Broadway show called Juliet's Nurse, and in the movie, he actually is doing this for a soap opera. So there is a difference there. This link right here is for more on the topic of trans rights. I know some people in the class may not know what that's about, and they may not understand completely why this is an important topic, so I thought it'd be nice to just put that in there so you guys could learn more about it. Also, if you want to learn any more information on the plays, see some more critic reviews, there's this really cool website that I used for my project. It's called The Dramatists, and it has a bunch of musicals, a bunch of plays, and you can just look up their synopsis, some reviews of it. And so, yeah, that's my project, and I hope everyone's doing well. Okay, bye-bye.